everyone, and welcome to Turning Point, a virtual conversation about pivotal moments for individuals in the ag biological space, sponsored by TerraSim. I'm your host, Rhiannon Branch with Brownfield Ag News, and joining me today is Corey Hill with Talc USA. Corey, I'll let you kick things off by just telling us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here today. I'm Corey Hill. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Talc USA. My background is agriculture. I grew up on a dairy farm. We did some farming, then moved to a beef operation in Nebraska. And so agriculture has been a big part of my whole life, and I've something that I've been invested into. About 17 years ago, started a micronutrient company, saw the need to increase plant health, deal with diseases and different things through plant health, and got that company up and going. And then soon after it started, one of my key investors suddenly passed away, and so looked around, and Steve Johnson, the owner of Talc USA, had started Talc USA up at about that same time. He was a customer of mine in my micronutrient business and asked me if I'd come on board and help him build this company, and that's what led me here and got me involved with Talc USA and what brings us here today. So,
Corey, let's dive into kind of those steps that got you to this point a little bit further, and maybe look at what you consider one of the most significant turning points in your career so far.
Yeah, so, got my micronutrient company up and going, and things were going well. And like everything in life, there's always unexpected things that happen and occur. And so after my key investor passed away, had 5 children, my wife and I did, that we were raising. So it was a turning point in our life of what we were going to do next, and really took a deep look at what Steve had envisioned for Talc USA and building this company, and had a lot of the same philosophies that I had in mind with why I had got involved with micronutrients and plant health and things, and how we could help farmers. And so we decided to jump on board with Steve and help him build this company. And it's always interesting how life throws you curveballs and then what direction you end up heading in life. And that was one of our key turning points for my wife and I. So.
Definitely. I feel like a lot of people can connect with that. Maybe if switches and turns kind of in the plan. What kind of challenges were there for you, Corey, and kind of making those decisions and deciding what comes next?
Yeah, so when you're self-employed, you call your shots, and you're excited about what you're building, and I'd been self-employed primarily my whole life leading up to that point. And so it was a major decision in our at that time in our life, but when you also have 5 young children that you're raising, and bills to pay and things like that, you have to figure out what the most important move is next. And that's why we evaluated the opportunity to come to work for Steve and help him build this company. And that was some of the factors that went in at that time in our life and how to make that decision. And it's been a great decision for us. The family's been a great family to work for. It's a great company, and they really have a heart for helping people out, helping farmers especially. Saw how they'd been taken advantage of by a lot of big companies in different ways through profits and stuff, and they wanted to return that profit back to the farm and help farmers out. And I bought into that vision, and it's been fun to be part of that. So
a lot of success for you through Talc USA, including a recent promotion. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I was the original employee of the company, came on, started expanding territories and customers. And then as we were able to gain enough business in different areas, we were able to start hiring other salespeople to help out with that workload. And as we continued to grow that, I was moved into the national sales director, and served in that role with the company for a number of years. And then recently was just recently promoted to chief operating officer to really come along Steve's side and help him build this company to the next level that he has envisioned for it. And I'm excited to be and honored to have that role. And we have a really great team. All of our employees are fun to work with. They're hardworking. They're very dedicated, and they have the same passion. So it's really fun to work with people that are all headed in the same direction. Think the same way in a lot of ways. So.
Got a great story there, Corey, and I appreciate sharing with us. Similarly, when I talk to people in the ag biological space, they can kind of recall a similar turning point for them when they started to believe in this technology or started to implement it. What would you say that turning point was for you?
That's a great question, Rhiannon, and especially for us, because we started marketing biologicals into the agriculture market over 7 years ago. Really kind of one of the pioneers of marketing biologicals to the agriculture community, and a lot of the early meetings you'd get a lot of blank stares from people like, what are you talking about, bugs, and how do these bugs help us, and things like that. And so we spent a lot of time just educating people on what biologicals were and how they worked, and it's really caught steam. People have saw how these products work, how they benefit their operation, and then just in the last several years here now, it's become one of the major markets in agriculture, and predicted to be one of the up and coming great markets as we move forward here in agriculture and dealing with plant health and diseases issues and things like that can be helped through this technology. So yeah, it's been an interesting ride for sure, and it's been an interesting journey, and it's fun to be involved today when there's more optimism, more excitement around this technology. People are way more open to listen to what you have now, and I've seen a major shift and change in the agriculture community towards this technology just recent years here. So.
Corey, can you give us maybe a timeline, a little bit about what that journey with biologicals has looked like, both for you in the ag industry and what that has looked like, for Talc USA working with biologicals?
Yeah, so we started out with primarily corn and soybean inoculant. Soybean inoculant was not anything new to anybody. It came down to quality of product. And price were some of the key points as you talk to people in the market. But when you started talking to people about inoculating corn, a lot of people had, envisions of how a corn root was going to grow a nodule and fix nitrogen. And so you had to explain to them that the microbes work in different ways. And so the corn microbes, they actually capture atmospheric nitrogen and feed it to the plant. And that same works in other crops. So as we developed the corn inoculant, then we were able to develop small grain and sugar beet and cotton and a really diverse line of inoculant technology or microbe technology for the farmers, so that we could benefit a lot of different crops and a lot of the major crops. And so as we developed that technology, one of the key points to our success was the ability to take those microbes and put them into a stable or stated environment where they could be utilized and you didn't have them dying off before they went to work for you. And so that was one of the key points in our success and helping us get up and going. But now it's just catching steam, and more people are understanding the need for this technology in their operation.
So for a while, you were kind of told that these biologicals or microbes and talc don't mix, but you guys were kind of able to prove that theory wrong.
That's another great question, and that's an attribute that goes back to the owner of the company. Somebody told him he couldn't do something, and he's the kind of guy that the entrepreneur kind of guy that said, "Okay, well, let me show you I can do that." And so he actually went to work and discovered the technology that was available to be able to take our inoculant in a dry form and be able to mix it with talc and 80/20. And that was one of the things in the industry that we were told we couldn't do, because microbes are living organisms and talc's a hydrophobe, and it wick the moisture out of the microbe and kill it. And so we did a lot of testing in laboratories and discovered how to be able to accomplish this task. And once we accomplished that, then we went into our testing phase. And since he's a farmer, he had to see it work on his farm, and he had to see 5 years worth of data showing a positive response before, he would allow us to go to market. And 2 and 3 years in, I'm a marketing person and I'm seeing these great results and I'm saying, let's market. And he's saying, nope, we're going to hold off and wait, because he really does have a heart to make sure that this is going to work for everyone and work on a consistent basis. And so I do respect tremendously his vision, and he's a real reason this company is successful, because of his abilities and his mind around these types of things and how he is able to accomplish this.
Corey, do you feel like biologicals themselves are kind of a turning point for agriculture?
I do. I think we're looking at a whole new arena, not just biologicals, enzymes, proteins. The interesting thing is that everybody was chasing the liquid market because the bigger companies could develop a technology in a liquid form. They could treat the seed and then essentially force people to pay for that technology. We had a vision where we wanted to give people the choice and the option to be able to purchase things that they wanted to pick and choose, per se. And so that's why we went the dry format. And so then we allowed the farmer to be able to pick and choose the technology he wants and then mix that directly in with his Talc or 80/20, and then it became a hopper box treatment. It also didn't require an investment of any additional equipment or anything like that. So, and it's something that every farmer in America could use, because everybody has putting seed in their box and they could add this at the same time. And so that was really our original vision with all this, and now it's amazing to see all the new technologies that are coming forth now that there's essentially a new window or a new opportunity to get these products to market through the dry system. And we see this as being the primary role in agriculture moving forward here in the next decade, for sure.
So for those farmers or others in the ag industry who haven't quite latched on to biologicals yet, they haven't reached that turning point of believing in them or wanting or quite knowing what to do, what advice, information do you have for those folks?
Yeah, I highly suggest that you look at the quality of the product that you're dealing with. That's really key. We as a company only buy the highest ingredients available, ensure that we're getting the best products out there to people, and that's really, really important. I think the other thing is to do your homework, understand what the microbes do, how they work, and then begin the own testing phase on your own place. Give a 2 to 3 year commitment and take a look at these products. Do some split planter treatments and lots of yield monitors, and see how they're benefiting you, because all the research in the world is really important, but what you see happening on your own place is the most important when you own the operation.
A couple of questions that go along those lines, Corey. You hear that a lot, try the product out.
Right.
And you hear that from all new technology. So why try biologicals, number one? And then you mentioned these trials for 2 or 3 years. What's the point of that 2 to 3 year time frame?
There's so many variables involved with agriculture, and we all understand that, whether it's weather, funguses, insects, diseases, and year to year, we get thrown a different pattern of those challenges in our operation. And so a 2 to 3 year testing of a product really gives you a firm hold on what that product's going to do to benefit you. In a lot of cases, we're dealing with technology that increases 5 bushel or 10 bushel an acre. But even if you're seeing a 2 to 3 year bushel bump, in a lot of cases, it's a phenomenal ROI for you. And so you really want to be precise in what you do. You want to keep really good records and watch that. And you should be doing that with everything that you're doing on your operation. And most guys are. And so the real benefit out of that is to have solid evidence for you and your operation to be able to see how these products benefit you, and especially over a wide variety of conditions and things like that.
A lot of potential here for these biological products. And before we kind of look to the future, I think it'd be beneficial for you to maybe touch on the partnership between Talc USA and New Leaf Symbiotics to kind of give folks an idea of the partnership you guys have going on there.
Yeah, so we were introduced to New Leaf this year and through a mutual acquaintance, and very excited about what New Leaf's doing and the technology and the research that they've done to bring really exciting products to market. And so they came to us originally because they felt like we had the best 80-20 talc in the market. We blend micronutrients in with that talc to get the plants off to a quicker, healthier start. You know, we'd done research in the industry with the micronutrient talc, you know, showing 4.8 bushel increases in corn and 3.4 bushel increases in soybeans with just the micronutrient talc and the quality of talc and 80-20 that we use. So that's really what brought us together with New Leaf, as they had some technology they wanted to take to market. They wanted to make sure that they get the people purchasing this technology were able to use the product to its best benefit. So they wanted to use a 80-20 that they found was effective to get the product distributed to each and every seed and get it out there to the ends of the big planters that farmers are using today. And they discovered that this would be a great partnership. And as we've got to know more about New Leaf, we're excited about their technology and their team and their passion for helping farmers be more successful as well.
I think one key thing to note here, Corey, is when we go back to talking about trying these things out and return on investment, is there any further investment that needs to be done in equipment in terms of trying out these products?
Fabulous question. And that's the neat thing about the dry delivery mechanism, is that can be applied in any planter box treatment without any additional equipment investment, which we all know equipment costs aren't going down, they're going up. So when you don't have to purchase equipment to use technology, it's simply doing something that you've already been doing in your operation, but using some select and key different products while you're doing that. And that's the benefit of being able to use the Terrasym from New Leaf and the biologicals and things that we can take directly to market. It's ease of application, and we're hearing that consistently from farmers that have been using this technology over the last 7 years. Even testing that we were doing with a major university, that was the professor's key statement this year from one of the key agriculture professors, was that the reason they were excited to work with this technology is the ease of use, that all farmers should be able to use this and they need this type of technology.
Looking forward here, Corey, what do you see, or what would you like to see for the future of biologicals? Are there any game changers you kind of see for the industry, or, run us along those lines?
Yeah, so I think my personal opinion is that this is the next horizon to increase yields, to deal with plant health, to increase the quality of food that we're raising. I believe that, healthier food leads to healthier people, healthier animals that we feed the food to. Being able to utilize our nitrogen better, so that maybe we can reduce the amount of nitrogen that we're using, things like that to still maintain those yields, but be able to use these technologies to be able to continue to raise the yields that we expect to raise, but maybe decrease our inputs a little bit and help the environment out at the same time. And so those are the types of things that I see through this. I think there's a huge world out there to be discovered yet in this technology. We're literally just starting to use a few key pieces of millions and millions of things that we don't even know about yet. So as this more and more information becomes available, I think this will be one of the key factors in growing in production in the future, in my opinion. So
I guess it's easy to say that you see this as a pretty growing industry with a lot of potential to move forward.
I do. I really do. And I think, the important thing is there's going to be a lot of people playing in the market, a lot of people that are coming, just really, research who you're working with and the quality of the product that they have. And those are the key components in my opinion. And that'll help you in picking and working with good products. So.
Well, Corey, before we sum things up, beginning of October here, lots of farmers out in the fields, one of the best times of year for harvest and everything going on. What are you hearing from some of your farmer customers or colleagues that are out in the fields, right now? And I know you guys you're maybe touch on where you're located and some of the areas that you cover as well.
Yeah, so I'm based out of Minnesota, and I deal with South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Nebraska quite a bit. And one of the things that I've saw is Mother Nature's not been kind this year. Yields aren't coming in quite as high as guys had expected, but it takes moisture to grow crops, and a lot of people dealt with a lot of drought this year. Um, and so that's, it's always frustrating as a producer to not be seeing the yields come in the way you wanted them to, because, they work very hard, and so that's a disappointing time. But, those are also things in a lot of ways that we can't control. But, for the most part, they're seeing some good yields. And I think, most people are happy, but understanding what they had to be dealt with this year, and the lack of moisture in the pretty large area that we dealt with drought this year. So.
Definitely getting a lot of variability in, growing season and yields across the Midwest this year. So I appreciate your input on what's going on up there in those states. Back on the topic of biologicals, Corey, is there anything else that you want to touch on in terms of, your turning points in this space, or what folks need to know about biologicals moving forward?
Yeah, so we're just really excited about the number of different biologicals that we work with. We're seeing sugar beet industry is one of them that we're really showing some phenomenal returns on, with a protein technology, and then our microbes that feed more nitrogen to the plant. Cotton market has we've seen a lot of increases in cotton for producers that are using protein technologies to through the same hover box treatment to be able to reduce parasitic nematode issues, and then just biologicals in general, just whether it be corn or soybeans or small grains or whatever it is. Small grains, there's a classic example. Our biologicals are showing increases in protein by over a point, which is really big, because that's what these guys get paid on in most cases when they go to market. And so studying dose stability and small grain and things like that to be able to help these producers be able to optimize the best potential earnings possible when they get ready to market their crop. We're just, like I said, in a lot of ways, just excited about the future of biologicals in general and the new technologies that are coming. Tier Stem has, or New Leaf has, some very exciting new technologies that are coming that, just can't talk about at this time, but very excited about what they have in their laboratories that they're working on. So.
Very good. Well, Corey, for those listening that are, wanting some more information about Talc USA, or some of the work you're doing, where can they learn a little bit more about you and Talc USA?
Yeah, so they can reach us through Facebook, through talcusa.com is our website, and we have videos on there about how our products work and things like that. Our whole team's listed on there. So if you're from an area, you'd be able to look and see who you could contact. We're in the process of bringing some new faces on board to help market products, and we'll be adding those as we get them. So just check us out at talcusa.com, through Facebook and any of the social media platforms that are available out there. And we'd love to visit with people. That's what we do, is visit with producers and figure out ways to help them be more successful.
Great. And you mentioned where you're located, but can you touch on the scope of Talc USA? Kind of what areas that you guys do offer?
Yeah, so Talc USA is based out of Page, North Dakota. We do business through pretty much most of the United States. We do business overseas in the Ukraine and in Canada, and are expanding in other countries as well. But pretty much all through the Midwest for sure. And then because we deal with mostly row crop, we haven't really dived into any of the crops like cabbage and tomatoes and things like that, or grapes and things like that. We mostly focus on the Midwest and soybeans, corn, small grains, cotton, sugar beets, things like that. So.
All right, Corey. Well, we definitely appreciate your time today and your insight on, what we can kind of be looking forward to in terms of biologicals. That wraps up this episode of Turning Point. And Corey mentioned some of the information on where you can find more about Talc USA. If you're interested in learning more about Terrasim and New Leaf Symbiotics, who are sponsoring Turning Point, you can go to terrasim2022.com. This video will also be available on demand at any time on the Brownfield website, which is brownfieldagnews.com. And you can tune in next Thursday at noon for the next episode of Turning Point. We'll see y'all then.